Welcome, 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 everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your producer and host of the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. This is your motivational podcast of people's incredible journeys. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast, the Dr. Lino Show. I would love to welcome today Swami Nityananda. She is a spiritual teacher of the Awake Yoga Meditation community. She was consecrated by Swami Shankarananda as a Swami in 2014. Her teachings help listeners and readers connect with the reality of love, wisdom, liberation, joy, harmony, and kindness. People who meditate with her find Swami Nityananda practices a selfless way of living in the world that asks, how may I be of service? And models through open-hearted, generous, and effervescent guidance, a path for us all to recognize our own inherent divine qualities and to see the same in everyone. Welcome, Swami, to A Little Less Fear podcast. So nice to have you.
Dr. Lino, it's amazing to talk with you.
So beautiful. I love this connection. And I just love that we're both wearing orange. And it's just very much in alignment with what I do every day, which is I meditate every day and I connect every day to divine holy beings, to the Buddha, to guidance, to my inner compass, to my inner North Star. And I know that our conversation here is of no coincidence. So thank you so much. I would like to know about your journey. What brought you to where you are at today?
Well, one of the things you were mentioning orange, and I love your orange shirt. It's fabulous.
I love your orange.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It makes me think of my teacher. So my teacher, Swami Shankarananda, the first moment that I saw him, he was wearing orange, and orange is a very Swami color. I don't know if you've heard that story. I'm happy to share it if not. But
please share it.
Okay, so one of the reasons why Swamis wear orange, and this is a color that my teacher asked me to wear when I talk about meditation, it symbolizes that in some ways, it's like each of us has to move beyond limitation. And so it symbolizes the moving beyond limitation. And it symbolizes that we do that humanly very often through a couple of things, through the energy of pure love, which is like that all natural, all pure energy that the sun shares, but also sometimes humanly, it feels like walking through fire. And so it is as if Swamis have walked through that fire and have allowed limitations to melt away. So that was what my teacher represented to me. And my teacher was just an absolute being of light and joy and radiance and just amazing energy. And so I aspire to do that same thing, like walk through any fires of limitation. You just allow the limitation to be melted away. And then I guess like a metaphor that yogis would use is that this is where gold emerges, like what is real and true and pure in us emerges as we allow the limitations to melt away. And so I would also say it's not just for Swamis that this is true, but I would say that for every human on the planet, we all have this innate connection to unconditional love. And you can think of that as like the warmth and the brightness of the sun, which shares itself just so radiantly and generously. But then I think you also could say every human on the planet faces pain and has to walk through things that are incredibly challenging, incredibly difficult. And the yoga philosophy, the teachings of non-dual awareness in the yogic tradition, remind us that when we do that, and we do it with an open heart, and we do it opening to the wisdom that is being shared with us, what happens is there's actually a kind of spiritual alchemy, or there's an amazing transformation that can emerge so that we find incredible gifts along the way. And so not that we're seeking the pain, but that if pain comes, know that if you don't suppress it, don't deny it, but work with it honestly and courageously, and fill yourself with this energy of love and inner strength and wisdom and courage, you will always be finding a way forward, and you'll find an inner guidance step by step and just moment by moment, choice by choice. And on the other side of that, you'll find that what remains when everything else melts away, when everything else crumbles and falls, you'll find out what's real in you. And what I find fairly universally, and I have the joy of talking to humans from all walks of life, is that what remains very universally for people from all backgrounds is the importance of kindness.
Yes.
And the awareness that we are all so interconnected, and the awareness that we're here to learn about our own light. And then also, as much as possible, as we keep choosing our own light, that reminds everyone else that they have the ability to choose to honor and respect their own light as well. And then what happens, I mean, I think this is very much in keeping with the title of your podcast, fear does melt away. There's just no room for that energy of fear if you're established and steady in kindness and in respect for the light in you, and in respect and awareness that is in everywhere, like in all time and in all space and in all beings, this light is present.
I love how you said that. Fear does melt away if you stand in kindness. So before we continue this, you said so many beautiful things right now. For listeners listening for the first time, who is a Swami?
So a Swami is consecrated by a Swami as a Swami. And you're just saying kind of like, what is a Swami? What does a Swami do?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, I mean, one way to translate the word Swami is that it is one who is sovereign of oneself. And you could kind of think of it as each of us is invited to know ourselves and to bring harmony and balance within ourselves, so that we're not combating ourselves, we're not fighting ourselves, but also we have like this inner strength and this inner wisdom and this ability to go beyond attachment and to go beyond aversion, and to be very, very steady and stable in that light. So that would be the inspiration behind the title Swami. It's a spiritual title. And I can definitely say that I saw this in living example. My teacher, Swami Shankarananda, lived those examples, those teachings. So it specifically designates someone in my meditation community. So I'm at Awake Yoga Meditation, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, geographically, and we have listeners who join us from all over. In my tradition, we're practicing yoga philosophy, and so that would be like teachings from the Upanishads, from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Yoga Sutras, and these are teachings that help each of us know ourselves. And so meditation is a really primary pathway that we share. So helping people turn within and encounter the light within themselves. And then what happens as we encounter the light within ourselves, we are given not only incredible joy and an incredible sense of recognition, a sense of self-recognition, a sense of greeting ourselves and being at home within ourselves. And then increasingly, we're able to be at home in the world and at home in relation to people from all walks of life. We recognize there's almost a universal energy of friendship, of kinship, of recognition and awareness that then is possible for us, so that everywhere we go, we're at home the way that the energy of sunshine is at home. So those are a couple of things that one could say about the title Swami.
I love that. Thank you so much for that explanation. I love it. Another thing you said that was interesting that I'm sure our listeners are probably would want to know a little bit more. What is non-dual awareness?
So non-dual awareness, I'm trying to think if I can give some really concrete examples. So one that I can give is, well, the thing that just came to me is moms and dads and parents, but also like siblings and friends and partners have radar in the back of their heads, so they can know if their loved one walked into the room. Like their loved one can be completely silent, but they can know if their loved one
feeling that energy.
Yeah, just that awareness. So part of it is like that. We're all connected. We're all part of this universal field of awareness and energy. And in that field of awareness and energy, so, I mean, I talk to people all the time who have these stories about their mom calls them or their friend calls them and is like, "What's up?" And then you know, like nothing on an outer level has been said, but their mom or their friend just knows, I need to reach out. Like I need to check on my friend and see how my friend is doing.
So more like an intuitive Force?
It is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it is that intuition. And I would also say, so um, like the dialogue that you're engaging in is part of this non-dual awareness, because you're listening, you're fully present, you're fully responsive. And so that would be like an aspect of non-dual awareness that you're drawing on to connect with listeners and to connect with the people that you talk with. And so what we do then is we're guided by a larger than the awareness that fits in this human body. So our human body's awareness is incredible. Like, it's brilliant. It's so amazing. But also we're all connected to awareness that extends far beyond the human body. And so examples people might connect with, this would be the energy that you feel if you're in nature, or this would be the energy if you're listening to music you love and your heart just opens. Right. Or this would be the energy if you love animals, or you love plants, or you love dancing. So it's that very pure expression of joy. Or like you see a friend and you smile and you're recognizing and connecting with the light that is sharing through them. So what yogis would say is actually every human is always connected to non-dual awareness. And so what happens is meditation helps us be aware of the connectedness that is already present. And then increasingly what can happen is, so humans receive invitations to engage in fear, to kind of close down that inner connection and to turn away from that awareness of the way that we're all always radiating outward our own energy. And we're also all kind of always fielding the energy of others as well. So when we're afraid, we're sort of shutting down that awareness, and we can start to feel isolated. We can start to feel disconnected. We can start to feel judgment of ourselves and of others. And then that's where the fear-based part of our brain comes online. And we're sort of disconnecting from the larger expansive.
I love this.
Yeah, exactly.
So fear is a disconnection.
Fear is a disconnection from our, otherwise, I mean, we do always have that connection. And yogis would actually say that's the reality. Like one of the ways my teacher said, he said, pure love is the only reality. That's the reality. But he also acknowledged we get to practice until we're established in that connectedness and that awareness all the time. And it's just our basic foundational ground level awareness, which is always there. We get to practice. And so anytime you notice fear, that's just a reminder, an invitation to take a deep breath, connect with that calm, connect with that wisdom within yourself, connect with that. It's a very centered and grounded feeling. And then interestingly enough, then the heart is able to open. And then we're able to connect with, we're always receiving inspiration. We're always receiving insight. We're always receiving guidance.
When you're saying that we're always receiving guidance and inspiration, and people block it with their fear, therefore blocking their heart, what type of inspiration, like let's say somebody has been closed off for a long time, what is an example of an inspiration or even just a glimpse of light that can start to open up someone's heart?
So really fantastic question. And one of the examples that came to me, someone I just spoke with very recently, he was reflecting back on a previous period of his life, but he had experienced trauma. So he had experienced an abrupt end to a marriage that he loved, and he was feeling really at a loss and just sort of, that question of like, how do I keep going forward? Like, what am I doing here? And how do I possibly move forward from this? And he was in the woods, he was in the wilderness, and he said he just got this inspiration to sit down and to be still. And as he sat down and was still, he found that he was able to, the metaphor he was using was he was able to put on his hiking boots. And that was like this metaphor for like, I can find my way forward. I can step forward. And it involves a really interesting process of listening within, becoming quiet and listening within. And then also you'll have feedback. So you'll take a step forward in time and space, and then you'll take another step forward in time and space. And then you'll have more guidance and more feedback. And so it's that continual process of listening to the quiet of your heart. And I would also say people receive guidance and feedback based on the awareness that they have and the receptivity that they have. So it can come in so many different forms. So some people have given examples of they're driving and a car drives by with a personalized license plate, and
Yeah,
it's
that
a
happens to me all the
message.
time.
Yeah, that like they were just asking themselves a question inwardly,
Right.
and the license plate drives by,
Sure.
and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yes."
But
Or
even so, a lot of people will see that as just a quote unquote coincidence, like, oh, that's a coincidence, and kind of brush it off, rather than these are actual real signs of alignment. These are answers for you.
it's an example of, so, and I'll also just say, for someone who's new to this, like if there's a listener who's just opening to this, it's absolutely great to ask for clarity, and it's absolutely great to ask for confirmation. So however you would name, like if you would name it, I'm addressing myself to the Buddha, or I'm addressing myself to the divine, or I'm addressing myself to the universe, or whatever word any listener would use is perfect for you to use. But you would say something in that case, I seem to have this indicator. Is that true? Can you please help me have clarity and confirmation? And then just notice. Just be aware and notice and listen. And so other examples people have given is sometimes dreams will come, and the dreams are a very clear indicator that brings them relief, or that brings them a feeling of peace, or that brings them just like solace or comfort, or just lets them know everything's okay, you're on the right track, keep going. Or even like some people sometimes will hear a song, like they'll walk into the grocery store, they'll hear a song, and they'll just be like, oh, okay.
Right.
So answers come in very many forms. And for a listener who wants clarity and confirmation, respectfully ask for clarity and confirmation, and be open and enjoy the process.
I love this. So it can come in the form of inspiration. Is inspiration and intuition the same thing? And how do you understand them to be?
Good question. I mean, so inspiration, one of the roots of the word is like that the breath of life, the spirit, is coming to us in inspiration. And so one of the things I love about the yogic tradition and some of the practices that we share at Awake Yoga Meditation is breath is an incredible connection to pure life energy. And when we work with the breath, we are connected to inspiration. And so
Wow.
I've had people say this, like they'll say something like, I meditated this morning. I was in this incredible flow of work. About midday, I got kind of stuck. So I sat down, I just took a few breaths, meditated briefly, and then the flow of inspiration was back. And so breath can help us just connect with that energy is actually already with us. So it helps us connect with that flow of energy. And then intuition, if you look at the root meaning of that, one of the things that it's guiding you to is that each of us has a connection to an inner teacher. Like we each are connected to this inner teacher. And then another thing, listeners probably know this, but it's always really good to just double check. So if you receive inspiration and intuition, one of the ways yogis would put it is the guidance you receive, if it's pure, it will stand the test of a pure heart, and it will stand the test of illumined reason as well. And so
how does that happen? How does it stand the test?
Well, so I guess what I'm saying is it will never tell you to do anything selfish.
Got it. Okay.
Or ignoble or impure.
Makes sense. So true intuition.
Yeah.
And the true messages of something that's an intuitive response, or an intuitive, I guess, message or coincidence. It's always going to come from somewhere really pure and loving and kind. And if it's otherwise, it's not true intuition.
Exactly. And it'll be wise, and it will be, what's the right way to put this? It will never tell you you're better or worse than any other human. So if you're getting guidance that seems to tell you you're better or worse than any other human, that's a sign. Just keep meditating, keep reflecting, and just say, I offer this to the light. I offer this to whoever it is that you name when you meditate. I offer this to the Buddha. I offer this to the divine. And I would like that clarity. And I would like that purity of awareness that I'm connecting with what is generous, what is noble, what is honorable, what is going to have a very pure motivation. So it will benefit you, but will also benefit others as well. And so it includes your good, but it also connects with the good of the whole, with a higher good.
I love this, Swami. I get so pumped up with this conversation, and I start to feel like I could just keep going. So I have some incredible questions here. So the Buddha spoke of being awake. How can we experience awakeness? And what is awakeness? I mean, we're talking about intuition and inspiration. Is that all within the same category?
So it's actually all related. And
Okay.
one of the things that I really love, a teaching from the Buddha, and the Buddha can be translated as the one who is awake. And so the Buddha said to his students, the awakeness that is within me is within you.
Yes.
And the awakeness that is within me is within every sentient being. And so he actually taught his students to practice, to clear away anything that blocks their connection with that awakeness. So it very much is related to what we've been talking about. And you could also say, so he uses different metaphors, but he says that there can be something on the surface that seems like there are a lot of bees buzzing around, for example. But if you keep going, you'll find the sweetness of honey if you keep going past the bees. And so one of the great things about that teaching is it's telling you, as you meditate and as you walk just the pathway of human life, you will encounter not only joys, but also challenges. And he's saying, keep going, because even if the bees appear to be swarming or flocking, keep going. If the bees are there, that's a sign that the honey is also going to be there as well. So keep
That's
going
so
with
true.
this process
If
of
the bees are there,
transformation.
the honey's also there. I had actually a situation this week where I was in some distress, and it's very rare that I get into my meditation mode and I'm not able to feel connected. And it happened to me this week, which is very rare. It happens to me maybe once every 2 or 3 months. And I had a really difficult time connecting, and I was feeling stressed. I was feeling frustrated. I tried everything. I tried 1 hour with my eyes closed. I tried connecting with just my pure clarity of my heart, and something was shut and something was closed off. And then I felt the words, and I heard the words in my mind in the form of a thought, and it said, "You need to rest your body. Just go to sleep." And I thought, well, that I guess that's the message, and that's why it's been so difficult. So I trusted it. I trusted what I felt and heard, and I just fell asleep. And I woke up the next day with clarity, and I was able to meditate again. So I feel that the honey was in resting, and that a lot of people they get it, or I'm speaking on behalf of the other people on how it is you are able to meditate, because there's a lot of people say I can't meditate, I can't hear anything, I can't feel anything. A lot of the times I feel that our bodies just need to rest. What do you think about this?
This is an extremely good question. I mean, so there's a lot in that question. One of the things that I would say is, and I say this very respectfully and with full awareness that I'm part of this culture, so I'm not separate from this. We have created a culture where we have invitations for our nervous system to be on kind of high alert all the time. And so there's, I think the way that our bodies are designed, we're also designed to have quiet. And we've not constructed a culture where our culture sort of prioritizes that,
Yes.
or makes that readily available. And so one of the things that I think humans learn when they start meditating is they start to learn their own self-pacing. Because I'm also like all about, like, I love my work. I love like sharing, but then there is this incredible gift that comes from when we are allowing ourselves to be quiet, when we allow ourselves to go within, there's deep, deep wisdom in that healing. And so one of the things I think you just demonstrated with that very wise story that you shared is that the body has an innate wisdom and an innate intelligence, and you were listening to that innate wisdom and intelligence, and the body was able to sort of bring itself into balance while you were sleeping. And so sleep is a deeply important part of caring for this body, like giving this body fuel that allows it then to be, I think our culture, I love it too, but we're so dynamic. We're so outgoing. And I love that. I love that too. But then for each listener to give yourself the gift of asking, just truly asking, giving yourself 5 minutes by yourself in a room and just asking, what does my body need when I listen to the wisdom of my body?
What does my body need?
When I listen to the wisdom of my body, And I'll also, like your body will tell you something simple, like take a walk, take a bath,
Right.
go sit under a tree.
Right.
It's like very simple self-care. Sit, wrap a blanket around yourself, hug yourself. Like it's very simple. And the same question is one we can ask of our hearts. And so to be very honest, and it takes courage and also tenderness to turn to your own heart and to ask, like, my heart has wisdom. When I turn to my heart and I ask, what does my heart need? And then to really listen, and it'll be something simple, right? It'll be something like your heart wants you to give it love, like from within yourself, not asking another to do that, but to turn within and to say, hey, heart, you're amazing. Like, thank you.
And quite literally say that to your heart, correct?
Say that to your heart. Talk to your heart, please.
Talk to your heart center with your hand on your chest.
Yes. And actually, so one of the really nice ways that you could do this is left hand first and then right hand on top of left. And you can actually start to feel your own heart energy, and you can start to feel your own heart energy is incredibly responsive. And often what we do is we sort of project our heart energy outward, and we're always sort of registering, sort of like, is that beautiful person liking what I'm saying or not liking what I'm saying, or understanding what I'm saying or not understanding what I'm saying? But this allows you just to turn within and to greet your own heart energy, and to honor and respect your own heart energy, and to share some of your own heart energy with yourself. And what happens then is there's an innate ability to be in this energy of joy and this energy of finding love flowing within yourself. And when you find this, it's very pure. Like this is just this innocent, pure, then you have abundant, pure love to share with others in your lives. So with your kids, and if you have a partner, with your family, like your work colleagues, like your amazing clients, whoever it is that you're encountering, when that energy of love within yourself is flowing, then it just like naturally pours through you. And then there's less of that sort of looking for or requiring feedback from the others. And you have an intrinsic awareness that this energy of love is flowing. And so it's amazing. It's amazing walking down the street. It's amazing.
It really is. I love talking about this, because I find that since I started meditating, it hasn't been that long, maybe about 5 years ago. I've just found such a welcoming community around me, whereas before I would be upset even going out in public if I didn't get a parking spot. And if you're already upset over something like that, you're already setting that vibration and you're closing your heart. So I know now that, and I'm always going to get the parking that I need. And I walk around, people are nice to me. And I know it's because I'm walking around with my heart open. And it's just really amazing. And I really wish for people to really open up their hearts. As hard as that it can be, it's possible for everyone to do it. So Swami, I'm wondering, speaking of how it can be hard for everyone to do it, how can we transform pain, limitations, fear, suffering to live in that joy and in that freedom? And even for myself, I mean, there's times where I'm just in complete joy all week, and then the next week I'm not feeling that same joy. How can somebody keep that connection open?
So, I mean, just honoring and respecting what you shared. Yogis are pretty honest, and they say that it takes practice.
Yeah.
So if you're finding that it takes practice, you're noble and honorable and moving forward. And so to set it as an intention for yourself, like, so for any listener, like, let's say that there are probably some listeners who are very far along and have for many years practiced being open-hearted. So for you as well. One of the honest things my teacher was Swami Nityananda. He said, no matter who you are, and no matter how far along the path of spiritual unfoldment you are, it's possible for anyone to experience a moment of separation. And so to not judge if that happens to you, and just to notice and to say, oh, I notice I'm experiencing this feeling, and I would prefer to create a feeling of connection. And so I choose connection. And then just to be patient and steady, and to be open to that feeling of connection. It's with you already. And so what you're doing is being patient and present and steady and open. The connection is already there. You're letting go of anything that appears to block that. So that would be an example of say that a long time meditator experienced a moment of connection. And then you, after 5 years of practice, you were saying, I can have 1 week of, that just joy and bliss and inspiration, and the whole world is your friend. And then the next week you're like, why am I feeling a little tired or a little cranky or a little frustrated? And so yogis, one of the things that is really helpful. So I'm at Awake Yoga Meditation, and we're a meditation community. It's really helpful to have a practice community, because then you see that can be just a natural part of forward movement. So almost like it's going to be another breakthrough for you on the other side of that temporary feeling of disconnection. If you keep going, then there's going to be even more joy on the other side of that. And so just keep going. One of the things the Buddha said was, good people keep on walking. So keep on walking, keep practicing, keep choosing to focus on that energy of connection. And then say that someone is just starting out. So one of the things is just to say, I have this intention. My intention is that I would like to create peace within myself, and I would like to live in the energy of joy and in the energy of being open-hearted. And set that as your intention, and then stay with that intention very steadily and trust the process. Anything that is not in that energy of peace and in that energy of joy and in that energy of open-heartedness will lovingly help you be aware of what is there to be healed. So if you can just say, okay, so whatever's coming to my attention, it's just there to be seen and understood and healed. It's not my enemy. Like if I'm feeling, when I become silent and quiet, when I sit with myself, if what I feel is pain, it's not my enemy. It's just letting me know this is energy. Energy is neutral. It can be transformed. And so that same energy of pain, if I sit with it, I can keep the wisdom from the pain. And I can keep the lesson that I learned, and then I can let go of the pain, and I can move forward in a new way with that wisdom.
Oh man, I love how you said this. So if you're in pain, it's not your enemy. It's just energy. Energy is neutral and can be transformed. Keep the lesson and let the rest go.
Let go of the pain. Because I think what humans do, because what humans do, and this is our brain thinks it's doing a favor for us. Right. It thinks it has to keep warning us about that pain. Right. So it actually does. I said earlier, you can talk to your heart. It's completely fine talking to your brain as well. And saying to your brain something like, brain, I know you're my friend. You're not my enemy. But that pain actually happened in the past. True. That pain is not happening to me right now. And so we can heal this pain right now. In the present moment, healing is available. One of the ways that the Buddha put this, he said, if someone has shot an arrow at you, you don't need to analyze, like, where did the arrow come from? Who made it? Like, did they know they were shooting it at me? Was it an accident? Was it on purpose? You can just simply remove the arrow. And it sort of lets go of a lot of the drama and a lot of the stories that humans otherwise, the human brain helps us create and helps us hang on to. So you're working intelligently and respectfully with the wisdom of the brain, and you're helping it know that it doesn't have to continually keep reminding you of past pain. And you're bringing calm to your own brain and to your own mind and to your own nervous system as you do that.
So if you could talk to your brain and tell it that it doesn't need to keep reminding you of past pain, you can talk to your pain as well.
You can. You can turn and talk to your pain. You absolutely can. And you can say something to your pain like, I'm just, this is an example out of thin air, but you can say something to your pain like, you were a part of my journey. I honor you. I acknowledge you. I respect you. You have taught me so much wisdom, and you're not my enemy.
Right.
And also, we can transform. So we can shift these energy patterns that have had my body feeling a particular way, and have had my emotional self feeling a particular way, and have had my thought patterns acting in a particular way, we can transform. We can transform. And so what you're doing then, it's almost like you're saying to your pain, I'm not trying. I think one of the things, I just got such a feeling of emotion about this. I think humans often try to push their pain away.
Yes.
And it doesn't work.
Right.
Because your pain is just giving you a signal. It's like a neutral signal. And so when you turn to your pain and you say, there's room for you in my heart. There's room for you in my heart. My heart is so big that there's room for you in my heart. You don't have to fight me. And I'm not fighting you, but also you can transform into love and wisdom, my friend. And so then you're working like very intelligently and kindly, and almost, it can be almost joyful, you know, so because after you've done this for a while, you'll be looking at your pain and saying, oh, there you are, my friend. There you are. Just you're just greeting me again. That's okay. And then gradually what happens is it becomes so integrated into your own open heart, and you are so comfortable with the wisdom. And you're so not fighting the pain and not trying to push it away. So I think what happens when we fight the pain and we try to push it away, we're trying to separate parts of ourself off from our whole self. And we are the reality of wholeness. And so that doesn't work. Like, it's not a lasting solution. And so what we're doing, and the other thing that I'll just say about this is, it depends on the pain, right? So humans can experience incredible trauma.
Oh, yes.
And then some of it is actually also generational. So it can come down to us through our DNA and through things that we grew up with. And so be patient with yourself. Be very, very steady and very, very kind for yourself. And know you don't have to do it all at once. And actually also, this is a little bit, we were talking like you can talk to your heart. You can talk to your own process of self-transformation. And you can say, let's do this in a way that is steady and gentle.
With ease.
So it doesn't have to be overwhelming. We can steadily keep moving forward. And it also can be self-paced. And that can help, I think, because I think sometimes if a person is starting out on a healing journey, or starting out just turning and greeting their pain rather than trying to press it away, it can feel very large. But as you just gently acknowledge, okay, I'm acknowledging this pain is here. I'm allowing myself to be with this pain. I'm breathing into my own open heart. I'm breathing into my calm, centered, grounded body. I'm breathing through whatever I'm feeling right now. We actually are liberating our own energy. We're liberating the part of ourselves. One of the metaphors yogis use is knots. And they say that when we have pain or trauma, our energy gets, it can be like in a little knot. And that's neutral. So what we're doing is we're just liberating the knot, loosening the knot, and then the energy flows freely. And then we have so much more joy and so much to share. And I think the other thing I would just say, because every human on the planet has experienced pain, you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. And on the other side of it, as you keep moving forward and you keep the wisdom and you greet your own open heart and you allow the pain to be transformed, there will be, what is the right way to put this? Like, on the one hand, personally, you will find unexpected gifts that come to you on the other side of this healing process, but also you will help people. You will help other people, even if it's only silent. Like, sometimes just we have lived through that process of self-transformation and we're in line at the grocery store, or we're on the train, or we're on the bus, wherever we are, we're walking down the street, and simply being in that energy of having gone through that healing, gone through that transformation. It's healing for others. And so you transform others even if you never say a word to them. And then for some people, you know, there will be like healing modalities that they become part of, and they share what they've learned through that, or they will share through kind, wise words wherever they are. And so just trust that you will share the wisdom, the very hard-earned wisdom. And I don't mean to suggest any of this is easy, but there are incredible insights that come to humans who work in this way and who are so courageous as to open up their heart and open to that inner strength and that inner wisdom and keep going.
You know what I just felt right now as you were saying this is that when I started my wellness journey or healing journey, I now call it a wellness journey, because when I would say it was a healing journey, then I thought, well, I'm always going to be healing. I might as well change the term to wellness. So when when I became on this wellness journey, and I noticed that I was really coming more from a place of my inner light, I started to attract more pets and more animals. Just as you're saying right now, that your energy is going to heal others. And I noticed that when more cats or more dogs or birds come up to me, or even squirrels when I'm walking, when squirrels are usually the ones to run the fastest, and they're coming up to me. And I realized, well, there must be something vibrant from my energy if random 1-year-old babies are coming up to me in front of their parents, or 2-year-olds and squirrels, and I feel the healing effects that my energy has done to me and what it is doing in front of others, because it's welcoming other people. And in welcoming other people and other energies, that subtleness is really what's bringing light to every response that I come in contact with. So beautiful.
Thank you for that description. That was so marvelous. Respect and joy. And that's a wonderful example. The silent. So one of the things that my teacher said was, we're all like these beacons of light. We're all radiating energy all the time. And so what you just expressed is a wonderful example of that. And so the more that we work with our own energy, meditation allows us, it's a wonderful way to work very consciously and directly with our energy. So the more that we do that, yes, then we're moving in this field of clarity and this field of light. And you're absolutely right. The animals respond and little kids respond. And
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What is the difference between compassion and empathy?
Okay. Good question. So this is a teaching I'm borrowing from Swami Nityananda, my teacher. And one of the things that he said was, especially for open-hearted people. So I'm curious to know your take on this.
Okay.
But he said, especially for open-hearted people, if we feel really keenly the human pain that others are experiencing, it's important to do that with compassion. So compassion focuses on wisdom and healing and wellness. I love your reframing of that. That's marvelous. It's open to the energy of the solution. And so it's sort of that sweet balance between, you see that your friend or your family member or your colleague or your neighbor is experiencing pain, but you also see the light within them. And so you, on an inner silent level, are connecting with the light within them. You're able to be responsive, aware, wise, and respectful, and helpful and supportive in relation to the human pain they're experiencing, and you remain connected to the light within them. Another way to put that is, you're not identifying them with the pain. You're not thinking that that pain defines them or is their only reality. And you'll know based on how you feel afterwards. So empathy would be, one of the metaphors is, if you are a lifeguard, you have to be able to keep your head above water in order to be able to help anybody else. Compassion helps you do that, but empathy can feel very heavy. And it can feel like it's taking your head below the water when you're trying to help somebody else. And so if you notice that, that would be a signal. Again, it's neutral. So there's no judgment. It's just energy. But it's a signal that you are, it's very natural for humans who have a sincere desire to be helpful, but we can unintentionally try to carry something that is not ours to carry. And so an example would be like, be completely helpful to the human who is experiencing affliction or who is experiencing suffering, but stay connected to the light within them. Know that they are not defined or identified or limited by the pain that they're experiencing, and know that there are so many solutions and possibilities that you might not even humanly know right now. They might not even humanly know right now, but it helps stay open to that energy of healing. Otherwise, unintentionally, what we can do is, if we focus only on the pain, we can actually lower our own vibration.
Yes.
And then we feel heavy and we're less helpful. So then there's less of that. You were talking about that amazing flow of helpful energy. There's less of that available. And we can then start to feel limited and confined. And that's where you get things like a feeling of overwhelm, or just like a feeling of fatigue, or a feeling of like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. Like, how do I respond? The need is so great. And so do everything humanly possible to be helpful. And then ask yourself genuinely, am I trying to carry what I cannot humanly carry? And so if you find that that's the case, one of the signals can be, there actually can be like a feeling of heaviness along the arms, or along the shoulders, or along the neck, or just like a feeling of tightness or tension. Yes. And so you can say to the divine, to the Buddha, to the universe, however you call upon help or light, I want to be here. I'm just giving an example. I don't have a sister, but I want to be here for my sister. And I want to do everything humanly possible to be helpful. And please lift from me anywhere that I have been unintentionally carrying what is not mine to carry. And help me be completely focused and present and available, respectful, aware, wise, inspired, and responsive. But please let me recognize that the universe is carrying all of this. The universe is carrying me. The universe is carrying my sister. Again, this is not a biographical example. It's just an example. Yeah. And that you can then have a feeling of clarity and a feeling of relief as well. And I actually think, if I dare say, I think that other humans will find us more fun to be around. If we're practicing this as well.
Yeah, I heard a spiritual talk where the woman said something along the lines of, if somebody is going through a lot, or a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, rather than being super empathetic and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," or using the word sorry a lot, that's the wrong vibration. You actually want to, don't be sorry. Because you see their inner light, you see their inner wisdom. You want to welcome that wisdom, not welcome the sorry. And I thought, wow, that was really impactful. And sometimes I still catch myself saying that, but I'm really working on that. Where if someone's going through something, "Oh, I'm sorry," I'm like, wait, that's the wrong vibration. See them for their inner light and know that what they're going through is actually going to guide them towards the honey. Like you said, these are the bees.
And I also just completely trust and respect your awareness and your response. Like, you will know what to say that's appropriate to that person.
Exactly.
You will know what to say. Yeah.
So then how does someone have compassion for themselves?
Oh, good question. So that is a really excellent question, because I would say that, just as an observation, humans who do have a lot of sincere intention to be helpful and to be kind and to be of service sometimes have a hard time being helpful and kind and of service to themselves.
Yes.
And so, yes, I mean, respectful acknowledgement that can be the case. And then, I mean, I think an easy way to do this is to say, I include myself in the compassion that I share with my neighbors. I include myself in the compassion that I share with my friends. I include myself in the compassion that I share with my family. So for every listener, you will know, like, where are your natural expressions and avenues of compassion? Include yourself in those same expressions. And that'll just be like a really natural way, so that you're just working with that natural, beautiful energy of compassion. Like, no one is telling you don't be compassionate, please do. Right. But also just to include yourself. And then notice what shifts, notice what changes, because that will shift. If you have not been including yourself in your compassion, that will shift.
The way that I include myself with my compassion, if I'm having a hard time or feeling down, is when I'll meditate and I'll actually picture a version of myself in my imagination hugging myself. And it's really beautiful. I mean, there's times where I'll open my eyes and I'm crying, but it's not tears of sadness. It's the tears of joy, and like actually feeling myself hug myself. It's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful things you could do for yourself.
Agree. And so another example of that, I mean, I absolutely agree. So for any listener, take advantage of that. Like, next time you meditate, if you're a meditator, absolutely agree. Greet yourself the way you would greet a friend. Greet yourself the way you would greet someone that you love, in a very pure, just beautiful, sincere way. Greet yourself with that same love. You also can, if people like connecting with nature, go out and sit under a tree and allow that energy from the tree to fill your heart. If you like the
Oh, I
sun,
love it. Oh,
to
yeah.
sit in the sun and allow that energy from the sun to fill your heart as well. And same with the energy from the earth, to allow that energy from the earth to fill your heart as well.
I love the energy from the earth. When it's cloudy, like it's been here lately in California, it's really difficult to get out and go for a walk when I'm not feeling the sun's energy. And so even if it's cloudy, I'll make myself go to the park and feel the grounding energy of the ground and the trees around me, and I feel an instant peace as soon as I'm out there. And it's liberating, it's free, and it's just what I know connects me to my inner being. It's wonderful.
Beautiful description. And I mean, I think it's so helpful for anyone who needs that connection with your inner being, and also like that connection with perspective. So I think, sometimes like if we've just been by ourselves inside all day, for example,
Yeah.
it can just be so freeing and healing to go outside even for 5 minutes and just connect with like that flow of the wind kind of like brushing across your face. And right, like you might see neighbors, you might not, but just to connect with that larger, expansive whole. And then that can bring a sense of spaciousness and a sense of perspective. If we've been sort of narrowing our focus and narrowing our vision, which we need that ability to focus, like that's a good ability. But then it's really nice to kind of step back and to say, oh, the horizon is actually very vast. And so I would like to connect with that vast horizon now. And that actually will help then when you go back to your work or whatever you're focusing on, you'll have more clarity and more ability to really immerse yourself and be present.
Something else that helps me become present, one of the first things I do when I wake up is drink water. And after doing a lot of research and studying about how water energy, I mean, not only are we 70% water, but that's what's actually around our brain surrounds water. The earth is 70% water. So it's like we are like the earth. And I feel that so many people, if they just focused in on the most simple thing of drinking a cup of water and knowing that we flow like water, that water is us and we are water, bless the water. When you bless the water, you're blessing yourself and you're uniting and you're connecting. I love telling the water when I drink water how much I love water. I love you, water. I love you. and I drink the love. It's really amazing. It's one of the most beautiful things that I do every day, and I recommend everyone to do it. It doesn't hurt. Just try it out.
I wholeheartedly echo what you just said. That was absolutely perfect.
Swami, this has been really beautiful, really amazing connection. I feel your high love vibration. I feel your heart open. Thank you so much for being so selfless and so loving. How can our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners find you if they need to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. And first of all, Dr. Lino, respect and joy and gratitude to you. Thank you for sharing your energy and your inspiration, your insight, your wisdom with so many. It's just an absolute joy.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
It's magnificent. So my name is Swami Nityananda, and I'm at Awake Yoga Meditation. We're a meditation community in Baltimore, Maryland, located geographically. People join us from all over. So on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, we meditate. And on Sundays, it's in person. So anyone in the Baltimore, DC, Philly area, come join us in person. It's amazing. But for everyone, anywhere in the world, you're welcome to join us on YouTube. You're welcome to join us on Zoom. We have a website, awakeyogameditation.org. There's a book that I wrote and published recently called Awake, the Yoga of Pure Awareness.
That's incredible.
If you liked what we're talking about today, the book is a lot of that. And it's like very like practical and accessible and direct. And it gives a lot of examples of humans doing what we're talking about. So it's a very fun book, and it's available at awakeyogameditation.org. We have e-courses, so you can learn online how to meditate. And then we also we share teachings on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok as well. Anyone who has questions, you're welcome to email me at swami@awakeyogameditation.org.
Swami Nityananda, everybody. What an honor. Thank you so much for your beautiful connection. Have a wonderful day, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Joy to you.
Joy to you. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Dr. Lino Show, A Little Less Fear podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can do so by sending me an email at alittlelessfear@gmail.com or through an inquiry from my website at www.alittlelessfear.com. where you will always find information on where to get my book. You can get my book on Amazon and Amazon paperback version, Kindle or Kindle Unlimited. And I also create incredible visual video poetry for people that are interested in marketing, or even just to send a personal note to anybody or somebody that you might love. So yeah, check it out. I love it. Poetry is my passion, one of my other passions, aside from doing what I do right now, which is giving you all the motivation that you need to keep growing, to keep motivating people, motivating yourself, and to keep expanding. I love you all so much. Have a blessed day and take care. Rock on.